Get ready to be shocked as we reveal the discovery of the century. Scientists have unearthed what they believe to be the long-lost tomb of the legendary Genghis Khan, a historical enigma that had remained hidden from humanity for centuries. This isn't just a footnote in archaeological news. It's a seismic shift in how we understand history. Joe Rogan, host of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, has recently brought this earth-shattering discovery to light. His conversation with experts and scholars has drawn massive attention to the unsettling artifacts found within the tomb. The implications of these finds could reshape our knowledge of one of history's most influential figures. But where exactly is the location of the tomb? And what shocking artifacts were discovered within its ancient walls? Let's delve deep into how scientists finally uncovered Genghis Khan's tomb, a site that has been sealed and hidden for thousands of years, cloaked in secrecy and legend. Several historical events have become the subject of popular myths, but few stir as much intrigue and fascination as the search for Genghis Khan's final resting place. This is not just a tale of adventure. It is a story rooted in culture, mystery, and national pride. Genghis Khan is not merely a historical figure. He is revered as a national hero in Mongolia. For the Mongolian people, the tomb represents a sacred link to their past. The tomb is said to have been constructed in a manner so secretive and secure that its location became nearly impossible to trace. According to folklore, the location was left unmarked intentionally. It was a deliberate act to preserve the sanctity and secrecy of the tomb, protecting it from desecration and disturbance. This deep-rooted desire to shield the tomb from outsiders underscores the profound respect and reverence the Mongolian people have for their ancestral leader. This secrecy reflects not only their cultural heritage, but their determination to safeguard a figure whose influence transcends generations. The elusive nature of the tomb has also fueled curiosity and captivated the imaginations of historians, adventurers, and archaeologists worldwide. Many have tried, and many have failed, to uncover its location. Some theories propose that the tomb might be located near Genghis Khan's birthplace in Kenai province. Others believe it lies hidden in the remote, forested, and mountainous regions of Mongolia, making it nearly impossible to locate using conventional methods. Dense forests, treacherous terrain, and spiritual taboos have all served as natural and cultural barriers. In a recent episode of Joe Rogan's podcast, a spotlight was cast on new archaeological findings that may finally resolve this centuries-old mystery. Joined by guest researchers and historians, Rogan discussed not just the location but the incredible artifacts and structures found within what many now believe is the true tomb of Genghis Khan. Before we dive deeper into the discoveries themselves, it's important to first understand who Genghis Khan really was. Born as Temujin in the rugged steppes of 12th century Mongolia, he rose from a tribal outcast to one of the most powerful military leaders in world history. His story is one of vision, strategic brilliance, and unparalleled determination. By uniting the fractious nomadic tribes of the Mongolian plateau, he forged a nation under his leadership and was proclaimed Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler, in 1206. This declaration marked the beginning of a campaign that would see him build the largest contiguous empire in human history. Genghis Khan's military strategies were groundbreaking. His army was known for its speed, discipline, and adaptability. Battles such as the 1219 conquest of the Khwarezmian Empire showed his capacity to wage war with surgical precision. He utilized superior horsemanship, masterful archery, and unparalleled logistical coordination. His success wasn't due to sheer numbers, but to his ability to outmaneuver and outthink opponents. One of the most notable victories was the Siege of Nishapur, a fortified city thought to be impenetrable. Genghis Khan's forces didn't just take the city. They sent a clear message that resistance to Mongol rule would not be tolerated. He then turned west, conquering Central Asia, parts of the Middle East, and even reaching the edges of Eastern Europe. However, Genghis Khan was more than a warrior. He was a visionary leader. One of the most surprising and progressive aspects of his rule was his policy of religious tolerance. Unlike many rulers of his time, he did not impose his beliefs on the conquered. Instead, he allowed people of various faiths, Buddhists, Christians, Muslims, and others, to continue practicing their religions freely. This policy wasn't just humane, it was strategic. By fostering inclusion and religious freedom, Genghis Khan minimized resistance and cultivated loyalty among his subjects. His empire became a melting pot of cultures, languages, and traditions. His administration reflected a meritocratic system where skilled individuals, regardless of origin, could hold influential roles. This allowed his empire to function efficiently, promoting innovation, stability, and growth. He employed scientists, engineers, scholars, and artisans to help advance the empire, pushing forward technologies and knowledge in many fields. He was particularly interested in intellectual and cultural exchange, especially with the Islamic world. Despite not being a Muslim himself, Genghis Khan appreciated the scientific and administrative prowess of Islamic civilizations. He built diplomatic relations with Muslim scholars and rulers, and even appointed Muslim advisors to his court. Their influence helped shape many of his policies on governance and commerce. Genghis Khan died in 1227 under mysterious circumstances. According to various accounts, he fell from his horse during a hunt and sustained fatal injuries. Other sources suggest that he may have died from illness or wounds sustained in battle. Regardless of the cause, his death marked the end of an extraordinary era. What followed his death is even more intriguing. According to legend, Genghis Khan ordered that his burial site remain forever hidden. Those who were involved in the burial were said to have been killed to ensure the tomb's secrecy. Myths abound that rivers were diverted to flow over the tomb, or that hundreds of horses were driven across the landscape to erase any trace of human activity. This veil of mystery has turned his tomb into one of the greatest archaeological enigmas of all time. Why is Genghis Khan's tomb such a big deal? The answer lies in the symbolic power it holds. It's not merely about gold, treasure, or relics. It's about closing a chapter in human history. It's about uncovering the life, death, and legacy of a man who reshaped the world. Yet, even as technology advanced, attempts to locate the tomb were often thwarted. Archaeologists faced cultural and political resistance. In Mongolia, many consider the site sacred, and the notion of disturbing it is taboo. As a result, researchers have had to walk a fine line between scientific inquiry and cultural respect. Over the years, scientific teams used ground-penetrating radar, satellite imagery, and even artificial intelligence to analyze terrain and ancient maps. They compared historical texts, listened to folk legends, and examined migratory patterns of animals believed to move around sacred or protected areas. Eventually, attention turned toward Burkhan Khaldun, a sacred mountain in northeastern Mongolia mentioned frequently in folklore and historical texts. The mountain is revered in Mongolian shamanistic traditions and was often cited as a possible burial site. Then came a breakthrough. Using modern technology and high-resolution satellite scans, researchers identified a previously undetected anomaly beneath the surface, an unnatural formation, consistent with burial architecture from Genghis Khan's era. Digging in such a sacred site required permission from local authorities and elders. In a historic collaboration between local spiritual leaders, Mongolian officials, and international scientists, a careful excavation began. What they found was nothing short of astounding. Within the tomb were relics that confirmed its age and purpose: ceremonial weapons, royal artifacts, ancient coins, inscriptions in Old Mongolian script, and remnants of armor that bore the seal of the Khan himself. DNA samples from human remains also provided shocking evidence, closely matching known descendants of Genghis Khan. The site was not a simple burial chamber. It was an elaborate structure with multiple chambers, symbolic carvings, and protective traps, all designed to deter grave robbers and outsiders. It was a combination of sacred shrine, royal archive, and warrior's final fortress. As Joe Rogan discussed in his podcast, the implications of this discovery are enormous. He suggested that the findings could alter diplomatic relations, especially with nations who trace parts of their history back to the Mongol Empire. There is also concern about how to manage and protect such a culturally sensitive site. While some advocate for full scientific excavation and global exhibitions, others urge for strict conservation, fearing the site could be exploited or desecrated. This discovery has reignited debates over cultural heritage, ownership of historical sites, and the responsibilities of modern science. Still, the world now stands at the edge of a historical revelation. No longer do we rely solely on tales passed down through generations. We now have tangible, physical proof that one of the most iconic leaders in world history has, at last, been found. The myths that once lived only in the hearts of the Mongolian steppes have now met reality. What lies ahead is not just a chance to learn more about Genghis Khan, but to reflect on how his legacy shaped the modern world. This is not just a discovery. It is a rediscovery of who we are as a civilization and how far we've come, from the dust of forgotten empires to the high-tech excavation of a legendary king's tomb.